fantastic morning. It's been... What are you drinking?
This is what we call black tea. black tea.
Black tea. You know, I actually got black tea from some friends from Thailand.
Thailand.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the first time I actually was introduced to black tea. Right. And they say it has some really good, some nutritional benefits.
Yes, it does. It does, actually. I always
this your own does not have any. Not a single.
No, I always take
it
mine.
It has nothing.
You know, after taking the news, I always take my tea.
Well done on the news, by the way.
Thank
For
you.
First time, you actually did a really good job. Well done.
Thanks, guys.
And yeah, thank you, Ebba, for starting it yesterday. Yeah.
Yes, so tell us. What do we have? What are we talking about this morning?
Yes, so, well, this particular story is quite touching.
Okay.
It was in the news over the weekend. It was a story of the doctor, a 36-year-old doctor in the US who recently committed suicide. Because of, so there were different reports.
Okay.
Some reports had it that, he committed suicide because of, Winfrey's a lawyer here.
What's the word?
Right.
Alimony.
Okay.
No, it wasn't alimony, it was child support.
Okay.
The court charged him for $15,000 for child support. That was what some reports said.
Okay.
And then some other reports came forward to say that he was charged $1,600,
Wow.
$1,900 for, child support. So, I mean, there were different reports, but at the end of the day, somebody died, and it was quite a sad and shocking story. As a matter of fact, a friend of his related to someone that I know.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, so the family is still very devastated, and this actually brought to the fore conversation around, which of course I'm really glad that we're having that conversation or discussion later on the show with our wellness experts, talking about real men don't cry, what men go through, the different challenges that men have to face in today's world,
wow.
and how that affects them mentally, and even though the father of the daughter, that is they're not married. I mean, that's the man who committed suicide. So he has 2 children with this particular lady. They're not. There's no verified confirmation if they were married or not, but they had kids together, right? But the father of the girl came forward to say that as much as he shared his, he expressed his sympathy with the family of the doctor. He also said that, the doctor held the kids and the wife in hostage for 3 hours, that it was at the point the police came in that he shot himself.
Ooh.
Right. So you can imagine the issues, summing up to that particular event, which is very tragic. And I think we need to begin to talk more about, men's mental health and what you all need to do. And I'm glad you're a man on this.
Yeah, I mean, it's reading the whole news. It was
conversation.
It's quite disturbing, because when you read somewhere someone is holding his own family hostage for like 3 hours, and then he decides to kill himself, that's deep. That's deep, because what are men really going through these days? What are men really going through these days? It's a conversation that we need to always talk about. It's something that we need to always bring forward. Most of the time you read social media stories and it's always the women that are talking about their problems, and all men, we like to hold our problems. We don't want to talk about it, but this is something that needs to be spoken about as for men, So what do you think?
So speak about this.
No. I'm not going through anything. I mean, I'm good.
Oh wow, you're not going through any in this life. Like, I'm going through like this.
I'm super fine. I'm super good.
Yeah,
I just did the news. That was my only issue.
That's the only problem in this life.
But what do you think about it?
So I mean, I saw the story. I feel it was a really sad one. I actually read. So I was trying to read and not read it at the same time, because I mean, it was a story that kind of drew me in, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to get too invested in this. So I feel like, there are different sides of the story, but so far we've heard more from the daughter, from the girl's
father.
part, because the father has come out to speak. Her herself literally even released the whole statement yesterday, talking about how, her kid is literally disabled, and she has been the one doing the whole child support the entire time.
Yeah.
So now for them to literally be talking about custody of the kid, so it can be inferred that they were probably married, right? So they were probably at the court, probably trying to go over divorce and then settlement and all those kind of things, and then custody and all that. So she gets custody, and the guy is meant to literally pay 15,000 child support and all of that. And the interesting thing is that the guy was literally
Cardiologist.
Yeah, cardiologist, and she's also in the medical field. And I think they probably went to medical school together, and that's where the whole thing started from and everything. But something I could say is, they are both Nigerians, and the father seems really vested in the story. To be honest, when I was reading the father's account, as much as, yes, it's his daughter, so of course, it will definitely see tilted in that regard. But I just felt like there's a way he went on about it that I felt wasn't necessary, especially at this point, considering the fact that the guy literally is late, irrespective of whatever he has done, whatever went on behind the scenes and all of that. But the thing is, there's still so much I feel has still not come out. So I don't think we're at the point where we can even say, oh, this or that is what really happened. We're literally just talking about the incidents where, okay, fine. They said he held them at gunpoint for 3 hours, and then nobody from his side has come to counter that story, and then him shooting himself right when the police gets there. Because I'm thinking, okay, this is someone so according to her, she's like, oh, we begged for our lives, we begged to leave for 3 hours. Then I'm thinking the police finally comes. If someone actually intends to kill you, he won't just kill himself and literally just move on. Do you understand? He will probably shoot you and shoot the kids. But then again, we're happy that was not the case.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely begs the question. What definitely was going on in his mind that got to that point of thinking that literally taking his life was the only option out? Because 15K in damages, yes, of course, it's a lot of money. Living in the US, taxation and all of that, a lot is literally going on. But then again, as a cardiologist, as a medic, you literally are earning, your earning power literally is quite reasonable. Do you get? So somehow, I felt, even if that's what the court said, they could literally have conversations and where they could make things work out and sort things out, as opposed to literally just taking that drastic decision to end it all.
My major concern are the kids, the children here.
Yeah,
just imagine
the
the trauma.
Have on them.
Yeah. And then you were there with your mom hostage, and the whole thing that would have happened, and then you notice police come in.
Assuming that was the situation.
Yeah, I'm just saying, assuming. But then it's deep, and then you have to grow with that mindset that this is what happened when I was at this age.
So there are different ways or different angles to look at this from.
Yeah.
There's his mental health at the time of the event, the impact is going to have, the negative impact is going to have on these children.
Exactly.
And then also on the woman as well. Let's not leave her out of it, regardless of whatever issues that they were going through.
Exactly.
It also have impacted her in some way negatively. But let's just talk a little bit about men and how they're able to deal with issues or challenges that they have to face, whether it is at the home front, whether it is at the workplace, whether even in the society.
Yeah.
You go to a place, I've been in conversations with, some of my male friends, and there was a time we're talking about, as a man, who do you look good for? Do you look good for the woman, or you look good for how you're being perceived? For example, you go to a place, if you're wearing, a Crocs, or you're wearing just the slippers, how would people, attend to you? Would they give you that respect? So that status symbol that is usually attached to how people, address you, how people communicate with you, how people even want to have anything to do with you, is also an underlying kind of conversations that people usually do not have. But these things happen. The kind of car that you drive as a man,
matters.
Even in the house, if you're living in a house where you have
the
neighbors,
kind of friends you
there's
keep
subtle
as well.
Competition, that goes, oh, I drive this car, I drive this car. Still goes back to status symbol. There's also conversations around your family, the kind of school your children go to.
True.
There's competition within the kind of school your children go to. Oh, my children go to this school. Oh, my children go to this private school. Oh, my children go to this private school. Those sort of things also, adds to the pressure that men have to go through. Now, do they talk about these things? That is a question mark. Do they talk about them? Do we have communities, support groups that helps to, sort of alleviate the pressure, that some of these men go through? Because like they say, a problem shared is half solved. You're talking about it, you're expressing yourself, you're letting it out. In terms of statistic, the number of suicide rates within for men has increased.
Yeah. All right, thank you very much, ladies, for sharing your thoughts about that. That is all that we can take at this point. We'll be right back. Don't go nowhere.